Have you ever slipped off your shoes at the end of the day and felt a sharp twinge around your toenail? Or maybe you've noticed your toes looking red, swollen, or just not right, and you're wondering why something as small as a toenail can cause so much trouble. It wasn't just painful, it started affecting how I moved, how I felt about getting out, and even my confidence. Toenail problems, especially ingrown ones, aren't just a cosmetic issue for seniors. They can lead to infections, make walking difficult, and even increase your risk of falling, which is a big deal when staying active and independent is so important. The truth is, our toenails change dramatically as we age. They get thicker, brittler, and sometimes start curving into the skin, causing pain and swelling. And here's the kicker, 99% of us are cutting our toenails the wrong way, setting ourselves up for these problems without even realizing it. Today, we're going to uncover why this happens and share a simple, effective method to prevent ingrown toenails, so you can keep your feet pain-free without expensive podiatrist visits. We'll walk through why toenails curl inward, the biggest mistake seniors make when clipping, and the first steps to trimming them right. Let's start by understanding what's going on with our toes. As we age, our toenails go through changes just like our skin or hair. They don't grow as quickly, and the nail itself becomes thicker and harder, almost like a little shield that's tough to cut through. This happens because the nail bed, the skin underneath, produces less moisture and nutrients, making toenails more brittle and prone to splitting. I noticed this with my big toe. The nail started looking like it belonged on a tortoise, not me. On top of that, years of wearing tight shoes or socks can push the edges of the nail into the skin, especially on the big toe, where pressure is highest. Over time, this pressure causes the nail to curve inward, digging into the surrounding skin and creating an ingrown toenail. It's not just uncomfortable, it's a setup for inflammation or even infection, which can be serious for seniors, especially if you have diabetes or poor circulation. Poor circulation is another reason toenails become troublemakers as we age. Our blood flow slows down, meaning less oxygen and nutrients reach the toes. This makes the skin around the toenails drier and less flexible, so it's easier for a nail to pierce it. I didn't realize how much this mattered until my doctor explained that my swollen toe wasn't just about the nail, it was my body struggling to heal because of reduced blood flow. Add to that the fact that our immune systems aren't as quick to fight off infections as they used to be, and a small ingrown nail can turn into a big problem fast. That's why understanding these changes isn't just about fixing a sore toe. It's about protecting your mobility and health. Now, let's talk about the biggest mistake most of us make when clipping our toenails, because this is where things often go wrong. It's so tempting to cut those toenails short and round the edges to make them look neat, right? I used to do this all the time, thinking I was keeping my toes tidy. But here's the problem. Cutting the toenails too short or curving the edges encourages the skin to grow over the nail, especially on the sides. When the nail grows back, it has nowhere to go but into that skin, causing an ingrown toenail. I was shocked when my podiatrist showed me how my clipping habits were making things worse. It's such a common mistake, but it's one we can easily fix with the right technique. The first step to preventing ingrown toenails is learning to trim them correctly, and it starts with timing. Always clip your toenails after a shower or bath when they're softer and easier to cut. I started soaking my feet in warm water for about 5 minutes before trimming, and it made a huge difference, no more jagged edges or splitting. Use a pair of clean, sharp nail clippers designed for toenails, not fingernails, because they're stronger and give you better control. Instead of cutting the nail short or rounding the corners, trim straight across, leaving the nail just at the edge of the toe. This keeps the nail from digging into the skin as it grows. I began doing this, and it was like night and day. My toes felt comfortable, and I didn't dread putting on shoes anymore. If you're finding this helpful, drop a 1 in the comments to let me know you're with me. We've uncovered why our toenails change and the clipping mistake to avoid, but there's more to this story. The next steps are about making sure your trimming technique is spot on and spotting warning signs before they turn into bigger problems. Let's keep going, because your feet deserve to feel as good as the rest of you. You're already starting to see why toenails can be such a challenge as we age, and I bet you're rethinking how you've been clipping those toenails, just like I did. It's amazing how something as simple as cutting straight across instead of rounding the edges can prevent so much pain, isn't it? But getting your trimming technique right is only part of the equation. There's more to keeping your toes happy and healthy, especially when it comes to avoiding ingrown toenails that can steal your comfort and mobility. Let's keep going, because the next steps are about perfecting your approach and learning to spot warning signs before they turn into serious problems. Let's dive deeper into the trimming process, because there's a bit more to it than just cutting straight across. One thing I learned is that preparation and tools matter just as much as the cut itself. After soaking your feet in warm water, make sure they're completely dry before you start clipping. Wet toenails can tear or split, leaving jagged edges that irritate the skin. I used to skip this step, thinking it didn't matter, but drying my toes thoroughly made my cuts cleaner and my toenails less prone to catching on socks. Also, invest in a good pair of toenail clippers with a straight edge. Those curved fingernail clippers just don't do the job. I picked up a pair at the drugstore for less than $10, and they've been a game changer. When you're trimming, take your time and make small, careful cuts rather than trying to clip the whole nail in one go. This gives you better control and helps you avoid cutting too close to the skin. After you're done, use a nail file to gently smooth any rough edges, but don't file the sides of the nail. That can encourage the skin to grow over it. I started doing this, and it felt like I was giving my toes a mini spa treatment. If you have trouble reaching your toes or seeing well, ask a family member for help or consider a magnifying mirror. I got one with a light, and it's made the whole process so much easier. These small tweaks ensure your toenails grow out smoothly, reducing the chance of them digging into the skin. Now, let's talk about something just as important, the shoes you wear. You might not think your footwear has much to do with ingrown toenails, but tight or narrow shoes are a major culprit. As we age, our feet can change shape, sometimes getting wider or developing bunions, and shoes that used to fit perfectly can start squeezing our toes. I had a favorite pair of loafers I loved, but I noticed my big toe was red and sore after wearing them. My podiatrist pointed out that the tight toe box was pushing my nail into the skin, making an ingrown nail worse. It was hard to part with those shoes, but switching to wider, more supportive ones made a huge difference. Look for shoes with a roomy toe box that gives your toes space to move without pressure. Avoid high heels or pointy shoes, which can cram your toes together. I started wearing sneakers with a wide fit for daily walks, and my toes have never been happier. If you're not sure about your shoe size, get your feet measured. Our size can change as we age. Also, make sure your socks aren't too tight. They should fit snugly without cutting into your toes. I switched to seamless cotton socks, and they're like a hug for my feet. These changes might seem small, but they're like giving your toes room to breathe, preventing the pressure that leads to ingrown toenails. Another critical piece is knowing when an ingrown toenail is more than just a minor annoyance. There are signs you should never ignore, because catching problems early can save you from pain and complications. Redness, swelling, or warmth around the nail is a red flag, especially if it's painful to touch. I ignored this once, thinking it would go away, and ended up with an infection that needed antibiotics. If you see pus, a foul odor, or if the skin feels hot, it's time to see a doctor right away. These are signs of infection, which can spread quickly in seniors. Also, watch for changes in how you walk. If you're limping or avoiding pressure on a toe, it could mean the nail is affecting your balance, increasing your fall risk. If you're still with me, drop a 2 in the comments to let me know you're finding this valuable. We've covered how to perfect your trimming technique in the role of shoes, plus those critical warning signs. There's one more piece to this puzzle, and it's about tying it all together to keep your feet healthy and your independence strong. Let's keep going, because you're so close to mastering toenail care for pain-free feet. It's incredible how much these small changes can do to keep your feet comfortable and your steps confident, isn't it? But the real magic happens when you make these habits a natural part of your life, ensuring your toes stay pain-free and your mobility stays strong. Let's dive into the final piece of this puzzle, how to tie it all together with a simple routine and why this matters so much for your independence and quality of life. Your feet have been with you through every chapter, and they deserve to carry you forward with ease. One of the best ways to prevent ingrown toenails long-term is to build a consistent foot care routine that fits seamlessly into your day. It doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Just a few minutes a week can make all the difference. I learned this after my ingrown toenail ordeal. I didn't want to go through that pain again, so I made foot care a priority, like brushing my teeth or checking my mail. Start by setting a regular time to trim your toenails. Every 2 to 3 weeks is usually enough, depending on how fast they grow. I do mine every other Sunday evening, after a warm foot soak, and it's become a relaxing ritual. Pair it with something you enjoy, like listening to music or a podcast, to make it feel less like a chore. Beyond trimming, add a quick daily check to your routine. After your shower or before bed, take a moment to look at your toes. Are they red, swollen, or tender? Is the skin around the toenails looking healthy? This only takes a few seconds, but it helps you catch problems early. I also started massaging a bit of moisturizer into my feet each night, not just for dry skin, but to keep the skin around my toenails soft and flexible, which makes ingrown toenails less likely. A simple cream with shea butter or petroleum jelly works wonders. These small habits build a foundation for healthy feet, reducing the risk of pain or infections that could slow you down. Another key part of this routine is protecting your feet from daily wear and tear, because poor foot care can quietly chip away at your mobility. For seniors, an ingrown toenail isn't just about discomfort. It can change how you walk, throw off your balance, and make you hesitant to stay active. I noticed this when my sore toe made me avoid my morning walks, and I started feeling stiffer and less energetic. To keep your feet in top shape, make sure you're wearing supportive shoes even around the house. I swapped my old slippers for ones with good arch support, and it's helped my toes stay happy. Also, avoid going barefoot on hard surfaces, which can stress your feet and worsen nail problems. If you have trouble managing your toenails, maybe because of arthritis, vision issues, or just difficulty reaching your feet, don't be afraid to ask for help. A family member, friend, or professional pedicurist can make a big difference. I was stubborn about this at first, but when my hands started getting shaky, I asked my daughter to help with trimming once a month. It's become a sweet bonding moment for us, and my toes are in better shape than ever. If you're considering a pedicure, make sure the salon is clean and uses sterilized tools to avoid infections. For some, a podiatrist might be the best option, especially if you have diabetes or chronic foot issues. They can teach you personalized techniques or handle tough toenails safely. Now, let's bring it all together. Caring for your toenails isn't just about avoiding pain, it's about preserving your freedom to move, stay active, and live life on your terms. Ingrown toenails can start small but lead to infections, mobility issues, and even falls, which no senior wants to deal with. By understanding why toenails curl inward, due to thicker, brittler growth and pressure from shoes, you're already ahead of the game. Trimming straight across after a soak, using the right tools, and wearing roomy shoes prevent those toenails from digging in. Watching for signs like redness or swelling lets you act fast, and a simple routine of checking, moisturizing, and protecting your feet keeps problems at bay. These steps are like a shield, guarding your independence and comfort. Which of these tips are you most excited to try? Maybe you're ready to soak your feet tonight or check your shoes for a better fit. I'd love to hear your story. Leave a comment below and share if you've dealt with an ingrown toenail or what you're doing to keep your feet healthy. If this video has been helpful, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more practical tips for thriving in your golden years. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you in the next video.